my Democratic colleagues used a point of order to shut down an amendment to protect religious liberty if it would be successful to protect your rights.
Yeah, it's starting to get real.
Logical response.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. Got another episode of Logical Response, and this is kind of an important video. I know I've said that before, but this one, it really is, and there's no boy cried wolf on this one. When I saw this, it kind of shocked me. And once again, it's a politician doing politicking things. So I had to go look up what he was talking about to make sure I get all my stuff right. I know what he's talking about, and it took me a minute because I had to go get somebody that knows law to actually interpret what was in the bill, and come to find out, this ain't hyperbole. He's totally correct. And I would suggest watching this all the way to the end, because our freedoms are slowly eroding away. They're chipping away at it, and it's getting to a point to where we're really not free anymore. And this bill goes further into that. Now, before we get too far into it, the bill they're talking about is
the bill that was on the floor today, ostensibly designed for marriage and recognition of same-sex marriage across state lines.
So, once again, you're taking more power away from the states to govern its own citizens, which I'm all against. I do not like the federal government being that big. States can do this themselves. That's one of those things. If you don't like living in a certain state because of their laws, move to a different state. But I just so happen to be a lot more libertarian on this issue. I could care less about gay marriage. If you want to get married to another dude and you're a dude, that's fine. If you're a chick and you want to get married to another chick, whatever. I could care less. But that's not what this video is dealing with. This video is dealing with religious freedoms. And that's something that's in this bill that they are taking away. Now, we still have the Constitution, and he'll explain all this in the video a lot better than I can. But it's putting people in a position to where they now have to go to court, and it's wrong. It's totally wrong. I'm gonna roll the clip and let Chip explain it. Here we go.
Today, we took up a bill. In that bill is something that is pretty significant for the American people to understand. The bill that was on the floor today, ostensibly designed for marriage and recognition of same-sex marriage across state lines, includes in it a sword, creating a private right of action, and creating the ability of the Attorney General of the United States to go after individuals for actions they carry out their closely held religious beliefs. And people in this chamber voted for it, knowing full well that the language in that bill will allow lawyers and organizations to come sue Americans and force them into court. And their response is that, oh, don't worry, you have the Constitution of the United States and the Religious Freedom Restoration Act. Well, no kidding. I know the Constitution exists, and the Religious Freedom Restoration Act dates back to, 93 or 4, sometime in the 90s. But now, if you dare, as an organization, a religious school, for example, say, wait a minute, it is against our tenets of faith to hire a same-sex couple as a teacher at our school. Maybe another organization makes a choice along those lines. Now you're in court. Now you're having to go defend yourself. Now you're having to go take this up to the Fifth Circuit in Texas, up to the United States Supreme Court, try to figure out how they're going to interpret all this, whether, by the way, this law is even constitutional in the first place. All because our colleagues on the other side of the aisle wanted not just to provide for recognition across states, again, a proposition with which I do not agree, but not just that, they wanted to make sure that there was a sword to go after you if you disagree. Earlier this summer, a member of parliament in Finland was prosecuted for a pamphlet she distributed 20 years ago in defense of traditional marriage and in opposition of same-sex marriage. Now again, whatever your views are on the issue, let me be perfectly clear. What is happening today, what was decided today on the floor of the House, and all those members on that side of the aisle and the 39 on this side of the aisle who voted for that legislation voted for a sword to go after individual Americans and private citizens and private organizations for daring to carry out their closely held private religious beliefs. We will be back here talking about that. We will be back here trying to pass legislation to make sure we can protect them. And I offered an amendment up in the Rules Committee to try to get a vote on the floor of the House, and I was denied even the ability to offer the amendment. We couldn't even offer the amendment. And Lord knows I don't have the power to offer an amendment on the floor of the House of Representatives. And again, I want everybody out there in America to understand, not since May of 2016 has an individual member of the so-called People's House been able to walk into the well of the House and offer an amendment on a piece of legislation, this time as consequential as marriage and religious liberty. Again, let me reiterate, whatever your views are on the issue, and I have mine, shouldn't we be able to debate marriage? Shouldn't we be able to debate religious liberty and the ability to protect your views and your closely held religious beliefs? But no. I was punted out of the Rules Committee for supposedly irony of ironies on a day in which we just authorized $860 billion in a 4,400-page bill that I got 40 hours before I voted on it, because it would score over $500,000, $500,000 over 10 years. And that wasn't even actually what the CBO said. They said it could, because it might create some revenues and some expenditures. And those expenditures, those outlays would be what? Damages if you went to court and you succeeded. So I want you to be able to understand, my Democratic colleagues used a point of order to shut down an amendment to protect religious liberty if it would be successful to protect your rights. That is assuredly and 100% what happened, and yet it was just blown over, disregarded here in the House chamber, including by 39 members of my own party. Because that's the way this town works. The bill was dubbed a gay marriage codification of Obergefell bill. So you had 39 members of my party go, oh, well, I'm got to be for that because, we got to be for, our libertarian type principles. Never mind that you were trampling on the ability of states and communities to be able to decide how they want to live, how they want to set up their communities, trampling on millennia, thousands of years of traditional marriage, which is designed very specifically for families and children. Tons of evidence and research on this. But we got to do that. We got to ignore the sword and the attack on religious liberty. And it was voted on today without a debate and without an amendment. It's extraordinary.
So yeah, there you have it. Terrible, man. It blows my mind that all these congressmen, they come from these districts and these states, and they are willing to give up power to the federal government from the state. I don't understand that. These people are local congressmen giving up power to the federal government. Why? I don't understand. It just blows my mind, and it's so frustrating. Like he said, they won't even debate it. They won't allow an amendment. What good are our representatives if they can't be heard? This makes no sense. And I understand the phrasing now, what they meant by emptying the swamp or dumping the swamp. I forget what the actual statement is, but it's something like that. And it makes sense to me now because that is completely swamped up with BS. It's getting to where it seems pointless to vote for these people. And I hate to say that because I'm a firm believer in how our Constitution works and how our democracy works. And it should work a lot better, and we should all be a little bit ashamed of ourselves But that's all I got for this one. I want to thank everybody for watching, and I just said washing. Thanks everybody for watching, and be positive. Peace.